Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Around the Diocese. This is a program that shares the many ministries and programs available to everyone in Middle Tennessee, from local parishes, the Diocese of Nashville, as well as international programs from the Catholic Church. My name is Ron Flietz, and I'm blessed to be your host. This week, we're going to talk about the Knights of Columbus Insurance Program. My guest is Dan Schackle, General Agent who oversees several states, including Middle Tennessee, and has local agents throughout his whole coverage area. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Good to be here.
Delighted to have you, and because you don't see or hear what we've talked about before we started the program, Daniel's just a phenomenal person, full of knowledge, and today he's going to talk to us about all the different programs that are available to all of us out there and in the Knights of Columbus insurance program. And the Knights of Columbus have done a phenomenal job with this over the years. And I don't think a lot of people understand or even realize the fact that the whole program, the whole Knights of Columbus program, was based on insurance. Correct?
That is correct. That's why we were founded to begin with, take care of Catholic families.
Well, tell us a little bit about that.
So we have to rewind a little bit, about almost 140 years to when we were founded. Michael McGivney was the oldest of 13 children, and his parents were Irish immigrants. During that time, there were no social safety nets. We had groups like the Know Nothings. Some of you may have heard of them, some of you may not, but they were dedicated to anti-Catholicism and making sure the Pope didn't take over America and all of these things. The Holy Father had given a piece of Italian marble, for example, to the United States to put in the Washington Monument, and the Know Nothings went out there with hammers and broke it up into pebbles and threw it in the river because they didn't want the Pope taking over America.
Oh, my gosh.
So this was the kind of environment that Father McGivney grew up in at the time. Also, a timely topic, we didn't have things like vaccines for smallpox and tuberculosis and all of these kind of things. People were dying. People were dying young. We weren't as much of a birth control kind of culture, so we had a lot of large families out there, and men, Catholic men, being, kind of held up in their careers by their Catholicism, only could find hard, dangerous jobs.
Right.
So we had a recipe for the Catholic families that made it difficult for them to survive in the United States. And, we still have some of that happening with immigrants today, and Catholic immigrants today coming in the United States, some of those same problems that we can see in our own community. So Father McGivney decided to go to the seminary. And while he was in the seminary, those problems came to his own house, and his father died. During those times, without social safety nets or anything, if there wasn't a breadwinner in the house in the state of Connecticut, basically mom went on the street, the kids went to the orphanage, and they would usually get adopted by Protestant families and whatnot, and then the family would lose their faith. So he made the decision to leave the seminary and go work in one of those dangerous factories till one of his old brothers got old enough to take over, so that wouldn't happen to his own family.
Right.
So then he became the associate pastor at St. Mary's Parish in New Haven, which is right across the street from Yale University. It was the street. It's still a beautiful street, beautiful old houses. All the professors live there. And they put up this Irish immigrant parish in the middle of this neighborhood. Yeah. And the New York Times even ran a story about how a Roman edifice had ruined an upscale New Haven neighborhood.
Oh, my gosh.
The house next to the rectory had a sign that said, "Catholics and dogs, stay off my grass."
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's something.
He was having these families like his show up at the parish, and Father, my husband just died. What do I do?
Right.
And just like he left seminary to try to keep his own family together, now he's trying to keep all these families together in his parish. And I just think about the role model of a priest and Father McGivney, and how strong that was, that it wasn't just a, we're going to do Mass on Sunday morning thing. I think he really took this seriously, like all of those families were his responsibility as their priest, as their religious father.
Right, exactly.
And he was going around to parish business owners and asking for financial backing. He would go to the courthouse, and when they were getting ready to split up the family, he would stand up and say, "I'll take care of these kids. Don't separate the family." And he was trying to do all of this on his own, trying to keep all these families together.
Right.
They say he never had a coat, because if he ever got a coat, somebody gave him a coat, he would immediately give it to someone else.
Yeah.
And then he would ride, once he got the Knights of Columbus going with the 9 men in the basement, which was really a catalyst. What catalyzed him to do it was that he couldn't keep doing it the way he was doing it. And he said, we have to find a way that we can come together and take care of each other. Another piece of that was, as Catholics and the bigotry and things, is, you can only find dangerous work. A lot of insurance companies wouldn't insure Catholics. There were other fraternal benefit societies that we are and still are forbidden as Catholics to join.
Correct.
But we had men leaving the church to go join these benefit societies to make sure their families were taken care of, and families were losing their faith that way.
Right.
So it was the need for something like the Knights of Columbus in the 1880s was gigantic for the church. And to, I'm 46 years old now, and he was 28 at the time, and I look back on my life and I'm thinking, how did he have so much vision at 28 years old?
Right.
And what have I done with my life here?
Yeah.
It's all slipping by. But anyway, that's why he founded us, was to do that. And then once he got the group going, the stories are that he would, again, without a coat, he had a real passion for every single Catholic family being okay, financially, and that what happened to his family doesn't happen to anyone else. And you can read writings about his life and things where it says he would ride around on his off day, right? In his off day, he's not playing golf. He's on a horse with no coat, riding around Connecticut, looking for Catholic families that he can bring in the Knights of Columbus to make sure they're taken care of. And that's mainly what he focused on. So if you read Faith and Fraternalism, the history of the Knights of Columbus, it talks about how he left most of the fraternal functions and the ceremonials and all that stuff to the other guys. And he, again, went around Connecticut promoting the insurance feature because he knew we had to get a big enough group of people together so that we could start our own insurance company and take care of each other. So it's just a phenomenal story.
It's a phenomenal story in its own right, and what all has transpired from this. But I mean, the mere fact of that vision when he was that young, and at that point in history, almost impossible to start then.
Absolutely, and his ministry only lasted about 10 years. He succumbed to tuberculosis himself at 38 years old. So he wasn't in ministry very long, but it doesn't take God, very long. If you're willing to follow His will, it doesn't take Him long to work in your life. So
happen in a blink.
Amen. Amen.
So here's the Knights of Columbus Insurance, and then here's Daniel that's coming along. And over the years, they built up, obviously, insurance agencies from here to there. Is that something that is international, Daniel, or is it something that's just more or less within the U.S.?
It's North America, so United States and Canada mainly is where we have the insurance program. So, we have members all over the world now. We have councils in Asia and, the Philippines and Europe and all these different places. But so far, the insurance program is U.S. and Canada. Okay.
So now I'm familiar with some of the insurance programs that you have, but there's the Knights of Columbus insurance that I was familiar with. It has expanded so much over the last even 10, 15 years, correct?
We've doubled in size in the last 20 years. As far as the insurance program goes, we've, as far as our sales, people are saying, oh, well, it's a group of old people and, it's not growing anymore. Well, we've broken our own records as far as sales goes for the last 19 years in a row. Every single year we've been better than the year before, even during the pandemic.
Right. Oh, that's phenomenal.
So our team, for example, last year we were up 26% over the year before for 2020. So we are
in a pandemic.
In a pandemic, we are a very old company that feels like a new one. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but we're very intent on growth. And I don't think our growth, well, I know in my part, and I know the people above me, I know almost all of them, all the way up to the top.
Right.
And the reason we're so intent on growth is the reason Father McGivney rode on horseback around Connecticut. You know, I tell my agents all the time, we have 30,000 members in my agency, but we have 750,000 Catholics. And those 750,000 are the ones that we got to get on horseback and go take care of before something happens to their family. And that's really what drives all of us as a company, is his vision that no Catholic family is ever left destitute by the loss of a breadwinner.
A 26% increase when really none of us could get around to too many places at all. I think that is just phenomenal.
Yeah, we were able to make some.
You got your agents on horses?
No, but sometimes you'd think we were on horses. We don't feel like getting up and going places, even though our car is air conditioned. And
right.
We've got it pretty easy. But no, you know what? A lot of that is just credit to the men God has blessed me with to work on my team, and the men and women that God has blessed me with to be above me on the chain at the home office at Supreme in Connecticut. Because we did a heavy lift, and we all did a lot of hard work, and we all had a lot to learn. And we had no virtual system for appointments or sales or anything in place at the beginning of the pandemic. But as a company, we responded pretty quickly, and within 3 to 4 weeks, we had our whole operation able to be online through Zoom meetings and team meetings and virtual applications and all of this kind of stuff. And we basically transformed our whole operation for the pandemic just within a couple of weeks. So it was really phenomenal.
Yes. Now you live in Middle Tennessee.
I live in Dixon, correct.
And so your coverage area for your agency entails what?
So I have the eastern half of Arkansas, including Little Rock. All of the state of Tennessee. I became general agent of Tennessee in 2008.
Okay.
And built that up. And then in 2018, they gave me that eastern half of Arkansas. And then at the end of 2019, they added the whole state of Kentucky to my area. I do also have that little piece of Virginia that's between Tennessee and Kentucky there up near the Tri-Cities. So,
okay.
2 whole states, parts of 2 other states is my coverage area.
Okay, that's considerable territory.
It is.
No question about that. And you have how many agents that work directly for your agency then?
So we have 21 on our team as of yesterday. We added a guy up near Cincinnati. So
congratulations.
Thank you. And we'll be adding another guy in Little Rock next month. So we're constantly growing. As I said, the territory has grown. We have about 11,000 members in Tennessee, and in the last couple of years, in territories that weren't very well taken care of, we've added about another 13 or 14,000, which is a pretty good lift to get that all staffed up. But we're making progress and moving that direction. So
that's great news. Now, tell us about your insurance programs that you have.
So everything that we do is based on what's good for our members. And that's kind of the mantra of our agency as well. So we try to keep everything pretty easy for our members to understand. Not that they're not so sophisticated, but we think we want everyone to understand what they're buying, what they're doing, and why they're doing it, right? And also, the reason we were founded was to pay claims. That's the whole reason we were founded, was to give money to Catholic families when they need it, right? So for a long time, we were mainly just a whole life insurance company.
Okay.
I know there's some people that say, oh, well, whole life insurance companies are greedy. They charge all this money. But actually, only 1% to 2% of term policies pay out. So term
Really?
is actually, yeah.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
And if you pay your premiums, 100% of whole life policies pay out.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so actually, term is a very profitable product for insurance companies.
That is interesting. I never knew that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's only about 1% to 2% of term plans pay out. And that's why they're so no, I don't want to say cheap, but so much less expensive than a whole life. Is you have a 1% to 2% chance of using that one. You got a 100% chance of using this one.
Right.
Obviously. And also
That's great information.
With the whole life, of course, if you're 20, 30 years down the road and you decide you don't want insurance anymore, you get all your money back with interest. So even if we don't pay the claim, we've still got to give you your money back. So that's the price difference between the two. And so we have the whole life and the term products. We also have what's called a second to die universal life product, which is designed for estate planning, special needs planning, things like that, to pay taxes or set up trusts and all of those kind of things. And then we also have long-term care insurance, which is really just extended needs, right? It's not rehabilitative, it's custodial care. So it doesn't get you out of the hospital, it doesn't pay for your broken foot, but it pays for someone to help you if you can't get around with your broken foot.
So if, and relatively speaking, long-term care insurance, first thing I think of is I got to be in a nursing home to use it.
There are some policies that are like that, and you have the choice, of course. Now, if you have the choice and I say, Ron, do you want to use this long-term care policy and you have to leave home and go to the nursing home? Or would you rather stay home as long as possible? Your answer is going to be stay home as long as possible, right?
Right.
So the facility-only policies are less expensive than the comprehensive policies, obviously, because people are going to be more reluctant to use their benefits when the time comes.
Right, okay.
But it's still needed. So, and then you have a comprehensive policy which will pay for either one to bring help into your home, modify your home to make it, put in the grab bars and the toilets and widen the doors and all those kind of things so that you can turn your home into your care facility. And that would be the comprehensive plans. And
now when we moved here to Tennessee, one of the things that my wife went to and our financial advisor at the time had this insurance program, people just to come in, one of those little seminars, if you will. And she went to it and she came home and said, Ron, we really need to look at long-term care insurance. And so I looked at the pricing and I said, okay, I think now I could probably afford it. But, when it comes to retirement time, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford that or not. Maybe we should shop around a little bit. And literally I was at our parish council, or not the parish council, I'm sorry, our Knights of Columbus council meeting within a week or two of that. And one of the gentlemen there was talking about insurance, and we should, just a reminder, guys, take a look at the KFC insurance programs. And so literally called up the agent that was involved with us at our council at that time and had him come over. He showed us the program that they offered from KSC. And when I looked there, while he was sitting there, it was pretty much a mirror image of each other, the little nuances here or there. But when I looked at the price, I said, whoa, where do I sign? Because I didn't want it to get away at that particular point in time, because it was easily half of what the insurance was that my wife was quoted on before. And that told me a lot about the KFC insurance program. And I should have really realized that when I joined the Knights of Columbus, and when we go through how Knights of Columbus, as you mentioned before, how it developed over the years, because it's for the members.
Absolutely. And we are an insurance company, and we are regulated like all the other insurance companies. And most people don't know this, but insurance companies are told the prices they can charge, basically. You can't charge below this. And, they have the actuaries looking at it to make sure you're going to be there to pay claims. That's what you're there for. One thing I like about our program and what drew me to work for the Knights of Columbus, over another insurance company, and there's a lot of great insurance companies out there, is the reason we're here. The only reason we're here is to take care of Catholic families. We're not here to make a $10 billion profit, and our CEO is not making hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses if we do good, right? We're a nonprofit insurance company. At the end of the year, we're we're paying dividends to our policyholders, and the rest of the money that are profits from our insurance company goes to pay for the operations of the Knights of Columbus fraternal side worldwide, and to charities like, the prosthetic clinic in Haiti, or when we had the Nashville flood here years ago, Supreme sent a bunch of gift cards down here to help displaced families.
That's right, they did.
Yeah, so things like that are happening all the time around the world, and that money, Ron, is coming from what I do every day. To help those people, and it's coming from you just taking care of your family like you need to anyway.
Right.
And I know that all of my money that I'm giving to the Knights of Columbus for my insurance is not going into any companies that support Planned Parenthood, that support all of the things against our faith. We completely screen. We have our own trading floor in Connecticut, and any company that goes into our trading computers is completely screened ahead of time to make sure that they do nothing that violates the Catholic faith. As soon as they do, they're out. In fact, we had a large company. I won't mention the name because you've heard of it, but they had made a pledge to Planned Parenthood, and we were one of their big stockholders. So whenever we heard about it, we dumped all their stock, and we're a pretty big player. I mean, we've got $28 billion of assets under management. We had enough of their stock that their CEO noticed what we did.
Sure.
Right? And he called our Supreme Knight and said, "What are you doing? You're killing me here." He said, "Well, you made this pledge, and we can't support you anymore."
No,
that's my understanding is they pulled their pledge back so that we would buy their stock back again. So we do have the opportunity to give a Catholic flair to the marketplace and hold others accountable as well.
Which is something I do want to get into here in a second, but there's one other insurance program. I think you have disability.
There's actually two more.
Okay.
Yeah, disability insurance, again, we want to make sure that no Catholic family is left destitute by the loss of a breadwinner. But frankly, if you have a young guy in his 20s with children, he has a 1 in 2 chance of being disabled at some point before he gets retired, which is the biggest risk actually his family faces, and it's worse than a death. You not only have you lost the income, but you now have medical expenses and all of these extra expenses that pile up on there, and mom can't go to work because she's got to take care of the spouse now and things like that. So a huge risk for families. And then another thing, maybe you don't consider it insurance, but it is annuities. And people are up in the air about annuities. You and I were talking before, and I told you the only advisors I avoid are the ones that say always do this and never do this, because there's tools in place, and I don't want to go to a mechanic that only has a hammer and he says, the hammer's the only thing you ever need, right? All of those tools in that toolbox have a purpose, or they wouldn't be there.
Right.
So annuity,
that's a good way of looking at it.
I always say that life insurance is really death insurance.
Yeah.
An annuity is life insurance. And so what you do is you can buy your own pension, basically, so that you can guarantee you'll never run out of money. That's what an annuity is a pension. Social Security is an annuity. Your pension from your company is an annuity. This is a private pension that you set up with the Knights of Columbus is basically what an annuity is. Now, you don't have to take the payments on that. You can use it just as an accumulation vehicle. It can be an IRA. It can be a Roth IRA. It could be a 403B. There's multiple ways that you can set up that annuity, and you don't have to take the payments. You can take lump sum withdrawals from time to time, but basically annuities are long life insurance.
Okay. Are there any other programs out there that we should be aware of?
Well, we're pretty excited that we actually already have these available to the institutional marketplace. A few years ago, the Knights of Columbus bought a company called Boston Advisors and set up an institutional investment firm to help Catholic institutions with their endowment funds and all of these kind of things, and invest them in a Catholic way, like we do with our insurance money, and run by the same professionals that manage the money for our insurance company. So we bought them, we got the institutional side going, and then we set up something called Kfc Asset Advisors, which is now aimed more at the individual families of the Knights of Columbus as far as their investments. If they want to find ways to make sure their money is invested in a good Catholic way and still take advantage of market forces, they can now buy Catholic Values mutual funds from the Knights of Columbus as of July 1st here in our area. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we have that coming online as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. So now, let's say I'm interested and I want to get KFC insurance or Knights of Columbus insurance. Who do I need to contact? Is there a specific, website I need to go to, or is there a phone number I need to call?
So I have a website called ROUR, or COM, either one will work. Mm-hmm. And I also have office number 615-441-8588.
Repeat that.
615-441-8588. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we have email addresses, but they all include my last name, which is kind of like alphabet soup, so you may want to start out with a phone number.
That's fair. And so now the one other thing, do I have to be a member of Knights of Columbus in order to get insurance?
In order to get the insurance, you will be. In order to take advantage of the mutual funds and things, you will not have to be a member of the Knights of Columbus. But becoming a member of the Knights of Columbus is very easy. And a lot of people see us as only an organization full of old men that cook pancakes.
Right, yeah.
For our
We've
first
changed a lot the last year.
I mean, you think about the situation we were founded in. We were founded to take care of young Catholic families. That's the purpose that we're here. And a lot of our young Catholic family men, I understand completely. I have 13 kids, and we have busy schedules, and you don't want to commit a whole bunch of time to things. But that's what we were founded for. I mean, maybe right now we can help your family on one side, and then when you do get retired, you can join the pancake flippers and help the Knights of Columbus out. But don't let that stop us from helping you. We were founded to help Catholic-age families. We now have an online membership that you can join through at kfc.org/join us. You can elect to remain an online member and take advantage of our insurance products, or you can elect to transfer into a local council if you want to get more involved in the activities, which I get my own family involved in. My children help with all the Knights of Columbus activities. It's not time away, it's time with them.
Sounds great, Daniel. I wish I had another half hour, because you and I could probably talk for another 3 hours, just in what we've got to talk about. But I want to thank Daniel very much for attending Around the Diocese with us today. Around the Diocese is made possible through the generous donations of our listeners and sponsors and the Diocese of Nashville, shining the light of our Catholic faith in everyday life. This is Nashville Catholic Radio, 100.5 FM, and streaming at nashvillecr.com.